Hi everyone, welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I am broadcasting to you from Budapest here in beautiful Central Europe. I hope everybody's doing great. Hi Kyber, good to see you in class. All right, students, today we are doing IELTS reading practice and strategy for the general IELTS. We will look at a list of headings questions, true, false, not given, and I think some multiple choice as well. So the materials are coming from our websites for General IELTS. Check us out and join us at GIELTS HELP. That's generalieltshelp.com. And for academic IELTS, join us at AEhelp.com. That's academic English help.com. On both of those websites, we have 6 full practice exams for you. We have over 100 hours of video lessons as well as a fully interactive course and lots of other goodies. So definitely check us out. Hi, Patricio. Good to see you in class. All right. If you're looking for our exam books to follow us a little bit more closely in these live classes and you prefer to have the paperback books, so physical books, you can order our books in digital and physical format from Amazon. So search for GE Helps General IELTS or AE Helps Academic IELTS. And if you have questions about our products, services, these classes, send me an email, adrian@gieltshelp.com. For academic students, not to worry, we have lots of materials and help for you on our Academic English Help channel as well. Hi, Guion Cour. Good to see more and more students coming into the class. All right, general reading today, then tomorrow, task 1, letter writing, and then on Saturday, we will do some task 2, essay writing, of course, for the general IELTS. So, students, here we go with today's reading. All right, today's reading is coming from our first test book, for those of you that have our books. And this is a section 3. So this is the long passage, okay? General IELTS reading has 3 sections. Section 1 has 2 short passages, each one followed by a set of questions. Section 2 has also 2 short passages, followed by each one a set of questions. And then passage 3 is one long passage with several different kinds of questions. So this one starts with list of headings question, where you have to choose the correct title or the correct heading for each paragraph. This is one of the more challenging questions for many students. And last week, I taught some strategies for this type of question. So today, we get to practice them a little bit more. Okay? Here is the actual reading passage. So the title here is Liberty, Enlightening the World, Symbolism in the Statue of Liberty. And then we can see here this very famous iconic landmark on Staten Island in the state of New York. Of course, most of us are familiar with this statue. It is the Statue of Liberty. Just to make sure everybody's paying attention and we're interacting, quick question. Where was the Statue of Liberty built originally? Where does the Statue of Liberty come from to the United States? Anybody know that interesting piece of information? All right, students. Let me know if you can hear me now. How's that? Okay. You can probably hear me well. Okay. Yeah, that was just a quick technical difficulty, but thankfully we're able to solve that issue. It's out of my control. Anyway, back to our lesson here. So true, false, not given. This is what comes after the passage. Okay. We will not read this before the passage because it's confusing to read true, false, not given before the passage. So we won't focus on that. And then we have a few multiple choice questions. So this one, we can read just the question, but not the answers. Okay, again, reading the answers or the choices before the passage is very confusing. So we're not going to read the choices, just the questions. So what represents the supreme law of the land? Next question. What do the broken chains represent? Number 40, which symbol is not mentioned in the text? Now, students, how many of you believe that skimming and scanning for these answers is a good strategy? So let me ask you this question. It's a very important question because I know many students learn this from different classes. Is skimming and scanning the text for answers a good strategy for section 3? Does that work? Okay, does that work? Munzir says, well, maybe 20% of the time, but there's a lot of risk involved. Yeah, that's right. And I'm happy to see many students saying, no, that really doesn't work. The reason I suddenly asked you that question as well is because of this last one here. Which symbol is not mentioned in the text? It's almost like an inverse not given multiple choice question. So the question is basically asking you which information is not given in the text. So to answer number 40, already from the question, most students should realize that, okay, to answer that question, I have to read the text. There's just no way to answer question 40 without reading the text. So good, yeah, true, false, not given, multiple choice, extremely difficult, some questions impossible to answer with skimming and scanning. Okay, so let's go back to the top list of headings. Let's start with this. Students, what's the first step when you see a list of headings question in section 3? That's right, Rekha. The passage is often paraphrased for most parts, so scanning and skimming will not work because of paraphrasing as well. So students, many of you who watch classes with me or who participate in classes with me regularly, you probably know the answer to my question. What do you need to do with this? Okay, what should I do? And if you're thinking, paraphrase the question, then you are right. Okay? You are right. So we try to paraphrase this as much as possible. In the real IELTS, you are doing this in your mind, right? So Pachu says, read them, paraphrase them, right? So breaking the chains of emancipation. Emancipation means the process of setting free. So to set free, if that's a new word for you. Emancipate, emancipation, to set free, or the process, the system of setting free. Okay. All right. The American Civil War. North versus South. Okay. And if you can't paraphrase some of these, that's fine. Just go to the next one. You don't have to. Okay. Emancipation is a legal process. That's right, Manzur. It's the legal process of setting free. Yeah. Okay. Stationary, yet always moving forward. Staying still but continuously advancing. Okay, so what I'm doing right now, students, just to be clear, is I'm reading my choices, the list of heading, and I'm writing down another way to say the same information. And I'm doing the best that I can. If I'm really stuck, use a dictionary, use a thesaurus when you're practicing at home. You have to practice this at home so that you can do it on the IELTS quickly and effectively. Okay? Amandeep saying remain same. That's good too. A new monarch. How can I paraphrase that? The beginnings of the statue. How can I paraphrase that? So what's another way to say the beginnings of the statue or a new monarch? How can I say that? Okay, Kyber, good. So Kyber says the elementary of the sculpture. Sculpture is good. Elementary, Kyber is maybe not the best. So beginnings, keep it simple. Start of a sculpture or of the sculpture. By the way, doing this is also a good way to expand your vocabulary, your lexical resource, and then you can use that in your writing and your speaking. So sometimes students say, oh, I find paraphrasing a waste of time. Now, most students know that it's not, and most students know that they need to do that. Doing it for reading is very useful because it helps to build vocabulary effectively, and you can use that in your speaking and writing. So the start of a sculpture or of the sculpture, a new monarch, yeah, is a new government or a new ruler, sure. Some good paraphrasing there, students. So a new ruler, okay, new king, a new queen. So those are very good paraphrasings, and then you keep going that way. Now, Manish Ariel is asking, what's the difference between general and academic in IELTS? Well, Manish, the reading section is different for the most part. Section 1 and Section 2 in the reading for general and academic are very different. However, Section 3, Manish, what we're doing right now, is very similar. Okay, so academic IELTS will have very similar passages to this one in the general Section 3. Okay, so keep that in mind. So even if you're an academic student and you're watching this and you're going, okay, does this help me for my academic? Absolutely. Yeah, it does. This type of question comes up on the academic reading as well. Okay, a light which is never extinguished. A light that burns forever, right? Take the antonym and the opposite. That burns or that shines forever. Okay. Constitution as supreme law. Constitution is the ultimate law. A crown fit for no human. A tiara, a little bit different than a crown, but anyway, a tiara. That's not for people. The gold torch of supreme law. The gold burning stick of ultimate law. A symbol of freedom and hope. Okay, an icon of liberty and ambition. So those are different ways to paraphrase those. All right, good. So that's fine. We've done that. Now that we paraphrase these as much as possible, what do we do next? What's my next step? So what should I do now? Okay, and again, in the real IELTS, so in the official IELTS, I don't have time to write down the paraphrasing. So I'm just doing this mentally. I'm just doing this in my mind, right? So I'm paraphrasing as much as possible. I'm paraphrasing these in my mind. Okay, so what do I do now? So Amandeep says, start reading some paragraphs. Kyber says, yeah, read a paragraph, okay, and get the meaning of it. Aha, Kyber is paying attention in class. Absolutely, let's begin reading. So here we go. Liberty enlightening the world, symbolism in the Statue of Liberty. Okay, so what am I reading? I'm reading about the Statue of Liberty. Why? So just by the title, why am I reading about the Statue of Liberty here, students? To understand the symbols, the symbolism. So what is represented? So what does the torch mean? What does the crown mean? Okay, so what are these symbols of the Statue of Liberty? So that's what I'm reading about. How? Well, there is this massive Statue of Liberty on Staten Island, and clearly it has some unique features like this tablet in the left hand, the torch raised high in the right hand, the crown on the head. So those all have meaning, and I guess this is what the text will explain. Let's read together. Students, practice your aloud reading. Read with me. Read aloud. Okay? All right, here we go. Let's do this now. Paragraph A. A beacon for travelers and immigrants for over 125 years. The Statue of Liberty is an icon, perhaps the icon of American freedom. Dedicated in 1886, the statue was a gift from the French people, representing their mutual desire and appreciation for freedom and liberty. The statue was constructed in pieces before being shipped across the Atlantic Ocean in over 200 crates to Liberty Island in the state of New York. The base of the monument, however, was constructed on site and was financed by donations by American citizens. The statue today appears green because the copper it is constructed out of has oxidized. When it was first established, the statue would have been a brilliant, shiny copper color. There are many symbols embedded in the Statue of Liberty, most of which represent its status as a model of freedom. Okay, good. So now for list of headings questions, your next step is to ask yourself, what is this paragraph about? So for list of headings, after you read each paragraph, ask the question, what is this paragraph about, and answer it before you look at the choices. So list of headings. Okay, read the paragraph and ask, what is this paragraph about? Answer it in your own words, and very importantly, before you look at the choices. Okay, so our example here is paragraph A. So what is paragraph A about? Which is the introduction. And the answer is, what is it? The history is, so Zaina Masso says it's about the history of the statue. So the background information to the statue. Yeah, okay. So all right, so that's your step number one. And then step number two is to actually look at the choices and find the closest match. Now, before we do that, students, just a real quick question here. Why do I say that you should answer the question, what is the paragraph about, before you look at the choices? So what's my logic? Why? And all the strategies that I'm teaching you or showing you is exactly what I do in the real IELTS, okay? Or what I would do if I were to sit the IELTS tomorrow. So it's the exact same strategy. I'm not teaching you tips or tricks or strategies that I wouldn't use to get a band 9, okay? So why is it really important to think about that before you look at the choices? What's the logic there? Okay, so Kyber says getting information. Pachu says understanding. Amandeep says we get an idea for choosing. Okay, so Akinsola says to be sure you have the right idea, Akinjade, and that's correct. Yeah. So the danger, if you look at the choices before you think about your answer, and this is true for multiple choice also, students. So if you're looking at the choices very quickly, so you don't think about the answer, you just go, okay, I'm just going to look for the right selection. What happens is the actual choices will manipulate you. So you get manipulated by what you see. And when you're manipulated by what you see, you lose your own thoughts, and it's easy to accidentally pick the wrong choice. So always think about the answer first and then choose. Now, the other reason is if you don't find any matches, so if you think of the answer and nothing matches, then you realize you didn't understand the paragraph. Okay? So it also helps you to check your understanding. I hope that makes sense. All right? Okay, so for paragraph A, we said that it's about the origin, the background, the history of the Statue of Liberty. Okay. So let's see if any of the options match with that one. Okay. So here we have our choices: breaking the chains of emancipation, the American Civil War, stationary yet always moving forward, the beginnings of the statue, a new monarch, a light which is never extinguished, Constitution as supreme law, a crown fit for no human, the gold torch, a symbol of freedom. What do you think, ladies and gents? Which one is the closest to the history, the origins of the statue? Yeah, number 4, the beginnings of the statue. Right. So we're confident it matches what we thought. It's very, very close. So we can bravely put the Roman numeral number 4 into our answer sheet. Okay. Manish, no, it's not true. For some of them, yes, not for all of them. Okay, Manish? So it's not true. And the bigger, so just to be clear, Manish Ariel is saying many tutors say that finding matches will be in the first and last line. Is this true? No, especially for the introduction and the conclusion, Manish, that will not be true. There's another really bad point about that question, Manish. Can you guess what that is? Or other students, can you guess what that is? So Manish says many tutors say that finding matches will be in the first or the last line. Why is that a dangerous advice for students? Can anybody guess that as we get to paragraph B here? Yeah, Amandeep, that's right, because you should read the whole paragraph, and some students will actually just try to skim read or scan for the list of headings, answers, and that does not work, okay? Especially when you have true, false, not given. So you have lots of time to read and answer if you use correct strategies. Let's read paragraph B together, and then we'll answer. So the statue itself is the figure of Libertas, the Roman goddess of freedom. In ancient Rome, Libertas was widely worshipped most significantly by emancipated slaves. Not only did this symbolize the literal emancipation of American slaves after the American Civil War of the 1860s, it also symbolized the figurative emancipation of European immigrants who left the oppressive poverty of 19th century European peasant life for a fresh start in the land of hope and opportunity. What is this paragraph about? So what is paragraph B about? Okay, let's ask and answer that question. What is that about? Students, can you tell me? Pachu says symbolism. Pachu, that's not bad. Can you be a little bit more specific? What the statue symbolizes? Yeah, so the paragraph is about the statue is the Roman figure of the goddess of liberty, right? It's the symbol of freedom. Sure, that's what the statue is about, which is important for people who were emancipated, so they were set free. Sure. Okay, so that's what the paragraph is about. Let's see which answer matches the closest. Okay, so let's go back to our choices. Okay. Breaking the chains of emancipation, the American Civil War, stationary yet always moving forward, the beginnings of the statue, a new monarch, a light which is never extinguished, Constitution is supreme law, a crown fit for no human, the gold torch of supreme law, a symbol of freedom and hope. What do you think? What is the closest match to my answer? Okay, so Amin, Irakli, Zaina, Khyber, Hassan, Rekha are all saying that, well, the closest match to what we just said is a symbol of freedom and hope. I agree. We just said that. The statue is the Roman goddess of freedom. It symbolizes freedom. So we can confidently answer Roman numeral 10 or X for that one. Okay. Now, again, students, this is where if you're just skimming and scanning for answers, you might be in real trouble. You might say, oh, but I saw the word emancipation so many times, it has to be number one, breaking the chains of emancipation, but that's wrong. It doesn't even make sense. Okay, so 10 is much clearer. All right. Now, notice how you have paragraph C given as number 5. You should always read this paragraph carefully also, and it's a great way to check how well you're using this strategy. Okay? So it's a great way to check how well you're using this strategy also. So let's read paragraph C together. Majdob Osama is saying that the quality is really bad in the live feed. How is the quality for everybody else? I mean, keep in mind it's a live stream. Is it terrible, or can you see me okay? It shows the stream healthy on my side. Just want to double check. Don't want to just ramble. Amandeep, it's good for you. Yeah, so Majdob, I think the issue is probably on your end. It's showing me as quite healthy. Okay, thanks for the feedback, students. Okay, so let's read paragraph C together. The statue's crown has 7 spikes. These represent the 7 seas and the 7 continents across which liberty would spread. This is the common interpretation of the crown's symbolism. It goes much deeper, however. The 7 spikes can be thought of as the sun's rays illuminating the world with liberty. Indeed, the original name of the Statue of Liberty is Liberty Enlightening the World. So it is easy to see the symbolism of the sun. The greatest symbol of the crown is in its origin as a headpiece for the rulers and monarchs of nations. Both the United States under British rule and French began as monarchies, with the citizens subject to the rule of the king or the queen. Both countries overthrew their oppressors and established a new monarch, liberty. Thus, the statue is crowned, no king or queen shall rule over the land except freedom and liberty. Students, what is this paragraph about? Let's keep going. What is this paragraph about? So what are we talking about here? What are we reading? Well, we read about the crown, right? So the symbolism of the crown, which was a part of this paragraph. Yeah, so Farhan says it's the spikes of this statue. So the paragraph is about the symbolism of the crown, but more importantly, Grace Cacao, what is it about? So more importantly than just so Igul says it's a new ruler. It's about the new ruler of freedoms, the new monarch, right? The new ruler, the new monarch. Okay, so this is where you can check how well you are doing and how well you are using this strategy. So if I go to these, breaking the chains of emancipation, the American Civil War, stationary yet always moving forward, the beginnings of the statue, a new monarch, the light which is never extinguished, Constitution as supreme law, a crown fit for no human, the gold torch of supreme law, the symbol of freedom and hope. Which one do you think is the closest match? And Irakli, Turabelides, and Amandip, Zaina, Shanzeh all agree that that should be 5. It's a new monarch. What's the new monarch? The new monarch, the new leader is liberty, right? So that's given for us, right, with the example. So example is 5. So if you got 5, then you know it's correct. Then you go, okay, I know that's correct. Okay, let's do paragraph D. Here we go. So read with me. The tablet the statue holds in its left hand is a book of law, demonstrating the rule of law in America. The United States is a nation whose founding principles outlined in the Constitution and its 27 amendments represent the supreme law of the land. Every one of the nation's laws, rules, and regulations derives from one or more of these supreme laws. The tablet has an inscription of the date of the American independence, July 4th, 1776, symbolizing the moment of its emancipation. Okay? What is this paragraph about? So what is this paragraph about? In your own words. So Farhan says it's about the supreme law, the Constitution as supreme law in U.S. government, right? Absolutely. Let's see what matches. So, breaking the laws of emancipation, the American Civil War, stationary yet always moving forward, the beginnings of the statue, a new monarch, a light which is never extinguished, Constitution as supreme law, a crown fit for no human, the gold torch of supreme law, a symbol of freedom of hope. What do you think? What's the best answer for this? Okay, so a lot of you are saying that that should be number 7, Constitution as supreme law. I agree with you. Don't overcomplicate it, okay? This last one Gold torch doesn't make sense because it's not the gold torch. Which one symbolizes supreme law? It's not the gold torch that symbolizes supreme law. What symbolizes supreme law? So which one? It's not the gold torch. It's the tablet the Statue of Liberty holds in its left hand, right? It's the tablet. It's not the torch. So number 9 is no good. It's number 7, Constitution as supreme law. So let's put that in. Okay, so here we go for question number 30 in this reading section. It is number 7. All right, let's keep going. Here we go, students. E, read with me. The torch, again, read aloud, students. So practice your pronunciation. Read aloud. Read nice and loud with me, okay? The torch is perhaps the most well-known symbol of the statue. It represents the light of freedom showing us the path to liberty. Again, this is obvious in the original name of the statue, Liberty Enlightening the World. Today, the torch is always illuminated, making sure we never lose sight of that path. In order to do this, the torch's flame is covered in gold to reflect the sun's light in daytime, while it is lit by 16 floodlights at night. It is never extinguished, symbolizing that the path to liberty will always be visible. What is this paragraph about? Careful, students. I know it gets easy to be overzealous and just jump to answers, especially when you feel confident with this strategy. But you still need to ask yourself, what is this paragraph about, right? So what is this paragraph about? Patricio says it's the meaning of the torch. So Aigul says the torch is always lit. Yeah, so if I ask this question from myself, okay, I'll show you. So if I'm sitting the IELTS exam, students, and I get this reading question, this is exactly what I would do. So I would go, what is this paragraph about? I believe it was E. What is paragraph E about? Now, of course, I would not write it down. I would just ask myself mentally in my brain, okay? And I would answer about the torch which burns forever to show the unyielding quest for liberty. These are the first words that came to my mind. You could say this easier. Torch is the actual stick with the fire on top, Zaina. So here I would say it's about the torch which burns forever to show the unyielding quest for liberty. Unyielding means never-ending quest, okay? So that's what I would say. So now I go back and I match up the one that I believe is the closest to that. Breaking the chains, the American Civil War, stationary yet always moving forward, the beginnings of the statue, new monarch, a light which is never extinguished. That is very, very, very close to what I'm thinking. Constitution as supreme law, a crown fit for no human, the gold torch of supreme law, a symbol of freedom and hope. Well, it's not talking about the gold torch of supreme law because that's the tablet. So I think the closest match is number 6, which is a light that is never extinguished, okay? So again, you have to be very careful. If you're just skimming and scanning, if you don't think of the answer on your own before you choose, it's really easy to make mistakes and choose 9 instead of 6. 6 is the better answer. So again, careful, students. Careful with that, okay? I really want you to avoid simple mistakes, okay? IELTS is not a game of go fish. It is really important. I think I'm going to make a t-shirt or something that says that. IELTS is not a game of go fish. That means that it's not matching words for what you see or what you hear, okay? It's not that card game, all right? So VI looks like the best answer. All right, let's go to paragraph F. Go fish, for some of you that don't know, it's a kid's card game where you just match blue fish with blue fish, orange fish with orange fish. So sometimes I feel like my IELTS students are doing the same thing where they're just matching words between listening and questions, between reading and questions, and that's not very good. Okay, let's look at paragraph F together. Here we go. So, read with me. There are two symbols which are lesser known to the public, but no less important. These are the feet of the statue and what lies at the feet of the statue. Though it is natural to assume that the statue is merely standing upon its pedestal, the statue is in fact walking. With one foot raised off the ground, the statue is marching towards freedom, spreading the light of liberty across the seas and continents. This also symbolizes that liberty must not be complacent. We must always be vigilant. We must always move forward. The final major symbol is that of the broken chains, which lie at the statue's feet. These represent the chains of enslavement, which liberty frees us from. This may be literal enslavement, but also the figurative enslavement by kings and queens. Okay, what is this paragraph about? What is this paragraph about? That's the question. It is about two lesser known symbols, the feet of the statue, which represent what? What does it represent? Okay, what do those represent? Represents the continuous fight for freedom, right? The feet are moving forward, which represent the continuous fight for freedom. Sure. Okay, let's see which of these matches closest to that concept. Two symbols, especially the feet, which symbolize the continuous fight for freedom. So breaking the chains of emancipation, that still doesn't make sense. The American Civil War, stationary yet always moving forward. The beginnings of the statue, a new monarch, a light which is never extinguished. Constitution is supreme law, a crown fit for no human, the gold torch of supreme law, a symbol of freedom and hope. What do you think is the best? Irakli, Janeth, Hassan, Amandeep, Zaina, Farhan, Shanze, Richie Rich, Rekha. You are right. Yeah, it's number 3. Stationary yet always moving forward. The statue is in one place, but it has its feet raised as if it's always stepping forward towards the fight for freedom. Very good. Okay, you got that. Great. It's getting a little bit more difficult, but as long as you give your own answer first, you are on the right path. So, I. Okay, that is correct. Okay, one more paragraph to go, students. Let's do it. It's the conclusion. All right, paragraph G. Here we go. Let's do it together. So, the Statue of Liberty contains many symbols and representations. The torch representing the light of freedom. The castaway shackles demonstrating the freedom of liberty. The feet of the statue never standing still, always moving forward. The tablet representing the rule of supreme law. Perhaps most important, however, is the crown worn by the statue, Never again shall a human being in the United States wear a crown. The only one deserved of that honor is one far greater than any one human being. Lady Liberty. Okay, so that's the conclusion. What is this about? What is this paragraph about? So what is it about? No human can take the place of freedom or of leadership. Rekha, it's not just about the crown. Careful. It's talking about all of the symbolisms of the Statue of Liberty, right? So again, if I were sitting the IELTS and I got this question, I would think in my mind, what is the conclusion about? It is about the symbols of the Statue of Liberty. Most importantly, the freedom from one ruler, king or monarch. Okay, sure. So let me see if any of these choices match for that answer. Okay. Breaking the chains of emancipation, the American Civil War, stationary yet always moving forward, the beginnings of the statue, a new monarch, a light which is never extinguished, constitution of supreme law, a crown fit for no human, the gold torch of supreme law, a symbol of freedom and hope. What do you think? Which one is the closest to no one human will ever rule over people again? Munzir says it's got to be 8. Aigul says it's got to be 8. Right, because the crown here is symbolic, okay? The crown is to rule or to have leadership. So no one human will again rule over society. Only freedom itself has that privilege. So 8 is the correct answer. So we put that in. Right. Okay. So 8 it is. Okay, so we have our answers. It's 4, 10, 7, 6, 3, and 8. Those look good. Now I move on to my true, false, not given questions. Let's see if we can move through these at a nice, steady pace using true, false, not given question strategy. Now, bear with me here, students. Not much time left in the class, but I will go through these questions just the same as if I were sitting the IELTS. Do them with me, okay? We're going to try to avoid having to look at the passage. So, 34. The monument was manufactured entirely in France before being shipped over. Is it important for this passage to know where the Statue of Liberty was created? Is that important? Yes, it is. Okay, I hope everybody's thinking, yes, that's important. Is it true that all of the Statue of Liberty was created in France before being sent to the United States, or is that false? Now, here's where visualization can help, right? Hopefully, many of you visualized the construction when it was described, because it said that the base of the statue, what the statue is standing on, the pedestal, was built on site. So it has to be false, okay? So this is true, false, not given. Make sure you don't put a Y for yes. So you put the big letter F in there, okay? 35, the goddess Libertas was worshipped by emancipated slaves in America. Is it important to know who worshipped the goddess Libertas, which is the actual statue itself? So is that important to know who worshipped the actual figure of that statue to understand about the Statue of Liberty? Yes, it's very important. Absolutely. Right? It's the origin of the primary symbol of the statue, which is the figure herself. right? So it's very important. Is it true that it was the Americans who worshipped the goddess Libertas? Is it true? So notice my logic here. Is it true that the Americans worshipped the goddess Libertas? Who worshipped? I should ask this then. Who worshipped the goddess Libertas? Who did worship this goddess? Farhan says it's untrue. Yeah, you're right, Farhan. So it is an F. They were slaves. Farhan says maybe the Greeks. I believe it was the Romans. Was it not? It was the Romans, I think, is what the passage said, if I remember correctly. Anyway, definitely ancient civilization. It wasn't the French, Grace Cacao. It was either the Romans. Come on, ladies and gents. People in the last several centuries didn't really worship goddesses and gods in the West. We're going back to ancient history here. So it had to be either the Greeks or the Romans. I believe it was the Romans, if I remember correctly from the passage. All right, here we go. So 36, the symbolism of the sun's rays derives from astronomical importance. Is it important to know where the symbolism of sun's rays comes from? For number 36, is it important to know where the symbolism of sun's rays comes from? Rekha says no. Amin says it's probably not. No, it's not. So I don't think it is. The crown, maybe, but not the sun's rays, because the sun's rays is removed from the crown, right? So I don't, that seems very distant from the passage. So I'm going to go with not given. 37, liberty replaced the king or queen as monarch of the United States. Is it important to know the place of liberty in the American system to understand this passage? 37. Is it important to know the place of kings and queens and liberty for this passage, for these symbolisms? Yes, it is. Farhan, Amin, Rekha, good. Yeah, absolutely it is. Is it true? Is it true that liberty replaced kings and queens as monarchs of the United States? Is that true? Absolutely it is. The conclusion tells us so. So true it is. Okay? So false, false, not given, true. I'm confident. No need to skim. No need to scan. I read the passage clearly one time. It took me 10, 12 minutes, but I understood it. I answered the list of headings. I'm confident in these. If I get one wrong, not the end of the world. Okay? Last answers or last questions, 38, 39, and 40. What represents the supreme law of the land? Multiple choice, always answer them just like list of headings from your own mind first. Okay, so what represents the law of the land? The Constitution, the tablet, that's the supreme law, right? If I remember correctly from the do you agree with me that the tablet represents it? Do you agree with me on that? That the tablet represents the law of the land? It's the symbol that represents the Constitution? Yeah. Okay. So let's see if anything is close to that. 27 amendments. No. Founding principles. Rule of law. Constitution. Okay. D. So D looks good because D is equal to the tablet. Okay. I don't have tablet there. So good. All right. What do the broken chains represent? Again, in your own words, what do the broken chains represent? The broken chains represent freedom from slavery, right? And freedom from... No, they don't represent the feet, Rekha. They represent the broken freedom from slavery, that's right, and freedom from what? So physical slavery, so being chained down, yeah, absolutely. And freedom from monarchs, that's right, Rekha, very good. Okay, so let's see. Anything matches? Freedom from kings and queens, yeah, that looks good. Freedom and liberty, freedom to be enslaved, freedom from enslavement. Which one is the best answer? No, I would say freedom from enslavement. It could be enslavement by chains, or it could be enslavement by kings and queens. So this is a better answer. In multiple choice, you have to choose the best answer. Okay? The best answer is freedom from enslavement. It's not freedom from kings and queens. It's freedom from enslavement, which could be kings and queens, and it could be others as well. Okay? It doesn't have to be kings and queens. So for 39, D is the best answer. Okay? Number 40, last question. Which symbol is not mentioned in the text? Well, we remember the chains, the feet, the torch, the crown, the statue itself. Okay, so the chains, the book, the robe, the spikes of the crown. Well, I don't remember reading anything about her clothes. So robe looks like a good one there. So C. So D and C. Now, if I go back to 38, it's the same situation as 39. So 38 and 39, be careful with multiple choice. You have to choose the best answer, okay? Freedom from kings and queens is not the best answer. Freedom from enslavement is the better answer. For 38, D is not the best answer, Constitution. Which one is the best answer for 38? Which one is the best answer for 38? What represents the supreme law of the land? Yes, Rekha, this is definitely the same difficulty as the real IELTS. Which one's the best answer? Hopefully some of you are thinking now it's this one here, Founding Principles, B, right? Because it's the Constitution plus 26 amendments, all right? So that was a little bit tricky. I thought I'd give you that one. So B is a better answer than Constitution, Founding Principles, because the supreme law of the land, if you check the paragraph in the beginning, it's not just the Constitution, it's also the 26 amendments to the Constitution. And the Constitution and the amendments together make up the founding principles. All right, students, there you have it. Let's take a look at the answer key. And here is the answer key for this reading. So 28 is 4. That was correct. 29 is X. Oh, is that the right one? I think so. Yep. Okay. 30 is 7, 31 is 6, 32 is 3, 33 is 8. So that's good. Okay, true, false, not given, false, false. Those were correct. Not given, good, true, good. B, D, and C. Okay, so those are the right answers for that passage. Okay. That's it for this class. Next class starts on Academic English Help channel in 30 minutes. That will be listening. So we're going to do some listening practice and strategy. Again, the materials, they come from our website, students. So for sure, check them out. Join our premium courses. You will do yourself a huge favor, and you will have a chance to learn from some of the best strategies and materials online, anywhere for IELTS. It's worth a couple dollars. GIELTShelp.com for general IELTS and AEhelp.com for academic IELTS. Our general IELTS website looks like this. Click that red button to join it. And for academic, it looks like this with the blue background. Click that button to join it. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Thank you for your participation. I think that a lot of you started to really figure out how these questions and passages work, these difficult Section 3 passages for general reading. Keep up the good studies. Make sure to practice these skills at home, okay? Sometimes make it look easy in class, but you need to practice at home. It's very important. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow for Task 1, General Letter Writing. Bye for now.